This is Basketball More Than a Game with your hosts, Coach Goins and Coach Quick. Former high school coach and player have teamed up again to share their knowledge of the game and life skills on and off the court. Now here are Coaches G and Q.
All right, folks, you know what time it is. It's Coach Goins along with Coach Quick, and we are back for another fast break edition of Basketball More Than the Game. Like we always say, make sure you got your sneakers on, you got them laced up tight. I know Coach Quick has got some breaking news that just dropped, so I'm going to kick it over to him. Coach Quick, what's popping?
Hey, what's going on, Coach G? You want to know what's popping with Coach Q? Well, Coach Q is so excited today about our very special guest. He's an up-and-coming filmmaker / photographer. And after this short break, Coach G is going to come right back and introduce you to our very special guest. So make sure those sneakers are laced up tight.
So, folks, you are dialed in, and let's, like Coach Quick always say, make sure you got your sneakers on, you got them laced up tight. And today, you probably need to put on 2 pairs of socks so you don't get them blisters. But bottom line, we are going to be rocking and rolling. We're so excited. And Coach Quick, I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to do like you always do. You know, Coach G, Coach Q, I'm excited. And I am so honored and pleased to have a very special guest on from Charlottesville, Virginia, Mr. Dontae Woodfolk. And he is the owner of NuFlickz. He is a up-and-coming photographer and a filmmaker. Welcome to Basketball More Than the Game.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
You know,
it's a pleasure to be a part of the show.
You know what, and we certainly appreciate it, Coach Quick. Man, let me tell you, you know what, I'm sitting in this like happening spot in Charlottesville, and you know,
Yes,
you know what the happening spot is. That's the Ralph Sampson All-American Tap Room. So I'm sitting in there, and all of a sudden I look up, and here comes the big fella. That's what I call Ralph. Right, so I'm sitting in, and then all of a sudden, here's this guy by. Then and then Ralph says he introduces me. He introduces my good friend Victor Bullock. Then he goes, guess what? I'm not saying nothing. I'm out of here. Then Ralph turns, and then all of a sudden, here's this sharp looking young man who is a graduate of the Virginia State University HBCU on the scene, and he starts telling his story. And as he starts telling me his story, my wheels go to turning, Coach.
Yes, sir.
And as they start turning, I'm start thinking, right? And the first thing I'm doing is, okay, I hear what this young man does. I hear the passion that he has. And the first thing I think, okay, you know what? He's going to be on the show. That's number one. So we're able to check that off the list. But most importantly is the networking that we're going to be able to do together as we move forward. And what we're going to be able to do, we just basically, what we got to do, we just got to get a bigger vehicle. And we might have to look at, maybe getting a bus or a minivan. But as we roll down the road and folks just like Dontae that come alongside, and then he goes to, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. So with that, Dontae, if you don't mind, kind of walk us through that. So how did you see Ralph that day to get us where we are right now?
So, honestly, I have explained this moment to my mother many times. It was just a regular day. I was going out for brunch. Decided to just go to Ralph's restaurant since I knew it was a sign up previous weeks ago saying that it was going to open soon. So I was saying to myself, I gotta go to this restaurant. So, I just went to the restaurant, and then all of a sudden I was sitting right next to Ralph and his wife with me and my girlfriend, and it was just crazy. I was like, this is insane. Like, honestly. And then my girlfriend was like, you need to go talk to him. And I'm like, man, I don't even know. I'm seeing so many people go up and talking to Ralph. I'm like, but I got to go with a different approach. I got to go with something that is going to make him remember me. I want to just show him everything that I do and, like, just my work ethic. So I kind of used my waitress as leverage. Her name was Penny. She was a great waitress, served us the entire time with great hospitality. And I literally said to her, I was like, Penny, do you know you're the one? And then she thought that joke was so funny. So she was like, Ralph, come over here. So Ralph came over there, and I told him the joke. And then, boom, that's how we got connected from there. And then I told him all about, me graduating from Virginia State University and how I wanted to pursue my career in filmmaking and want to, like, further it more and more. And that's when he introduced me. To the two businessmen, and it just sparked off from there. So
All right, man. So you know what, hey, Coach Quick, and that's exactly right, Dontae. Sometimes you got to be about business. You got to step out there and think about it. I mean, what's the odds of you going to the restaurant and Ralph ain't there? You know
Yeah,
what?
that is crazy.
And
And
go ahead.
nah, but I wanted to go there during the time when he cut the ribbon, when it was the first opening, and I didn't even get a chance to make it because I was out of town. But I said, all right, I'm gonna go the next day, and I didn't think he would be there the second day. So it's kind of ironic how everything happened. But I know everything happens for a reason. God put things in my path for a reason. So I just got to pursue it.
Exactly. So again, we appreciate you taking time out for and sharing with that audience. And so now, folks. So from that conversation, and guess what, Coach Quick? So I go
Yes,
back
sir.
not yesterday Saturday. I go back last weekend. So I get there and I'm like, man, let me go ahead and get me. I guess what you want. I said I think I'm gonna do the. I went back for brunch. So I'm standing there, and so my wife said, "You gonna get what?" I said, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat chicken and waffles. I mean, that's my thing. So I was there, and the gentleman was in front of me, and he's like putting this stuff on the plate. Then he moved down, and I looked at his plate. He had chicken and waffles too, but he ain't put no syrup on it. So my wife was like kind of standing there. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "This gentleman ain't," and that's why I said there. I said, "The gentleman ain't put no syrup on it." I said, "I got to hold up because he gonna reach back for the syrup bottle once he looks down at his plate and recognize he didn't put no syrup on his chicken and waffles." And then when he looked down and picked up the syrup bottle, and I actually looked at him, guess what it was, Coach Quick?
Who was?
It was Dante.
Oh man, outstanding. Yes,
Right, so
sir.
I was just like, all right, man. So we're gonna make this thing happen. So so we were sitting outside and they were inside. So they finished. He came, and so we was like, all right, we're gonna chop this thing up. And then I sat there probably they almost like put me out because I stayed there like 3:30. And the guy came up and said, "Sir, we need to close out your bill because we get ready to cut off for dinner." And I've been there since 12:15. So I was just like, all right, man. So actually, I was over there. My brother came to town. I took him over there Friday night. And we hung out, man. But yeah, that's the spot. So if anybody that's looking for a great spot to hang out in Charlottesville, it's none other than a great friend of ours, Ralph Sampson, who's been on that show several times. It was very instrumental. And that one thing I can tell you, Dante, you will not find a nicer, kinder gentleman than Mr. Ralph Sampson. So definitely stay plugged in. And as we continue to move this thing, we'll be making it. We'll be making it pop. So what we're gonna do real quick, we're gonna step away, pay a few bills. But who we have on right now is Dontae Woodfolk, and Dontae is the owner and upcoming business NuFlickz. He is a filmmaker and also photographer. We'll be back after this short break.
You're listening to Basketball More Than a Game with Coach Goings and Coach Quick.
All right, so this is Coach Goins along with Coach Quick, and we're back in and a very special guest via telephone from Charlottesville, Virginia, and that's Mr. Dontae Woodfolk. And he, like we said before we go on the break, he's upcoming filmmaker and photographer. So, Coach Quick, I know you ready to roll. I know you got your questions, so let's roll.
Yes, sir. Hey, Dante, first and foremost, man, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Just listening to your passion and your charisma, man, I'm loving it already. My first question for you: how did your passion for photography come about? Could you talk to our listening audience about your passion for photography?
So my passion all started in high school. This is all before I went to college. Honestly, my senior year, I kind of wanted to do something different. My father always told me that, he always basically, told me about his doubts and about his wishes, about just doing things when he was younger. So I said I was going to fulfill all of those things that my father did not do. So therefore, I dropped all sports and I found a different outlet. And I fell in love with the camera. I fell in love with photography. It gave me a voice. It gave me an image, and it gave me a perception that I can only see in. So I always wanted just to become a part of a segment of a business that thrives to inspire the community and the wonderful people in it. So that had always been my goal, starting off with NuFlickz.
Hey, I love it, and it's well needed in today's society. And Coach G, I'll kick it over to you for the next question.
Well, you know what? I want to frame out what he said right there. If you don't mind,
Yes, sir.
go back, Dante, and you said I think it was three words that you used, and when you were answering Coach Quick's question.
Yes, sir.
And I wasn't quick enough to write them down. If you don't mind, can you repeat those?
About becoming a part of a segment of a business
Yes, sir.
that thrives to inspire the community and the wonderful people in it.
Exactly. All right, so now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying that has always been my goal, but my main goal is to motivate and inspire the youth and create different paths and different career opportunities in the field of communication, which I've learned in for 4 years at Virginia State University.
You know, and that's what's going to make you successful. I'm going to go ahead and call it out right now, Coach Quick, because
Yes, sir.
it's not a lot of times that you hear, you know, a person of this age. And when I say this age, because, you know, we Coach Quick, you and I know that Dontae is younger than we are, but in that, folks, I want you to be able to frame out what he was saying is to motivate and give the younger generation, you know, it's a wide open field, you know, a communication. Also, same thing as you look into the entrepreneurship, you look at food service business. It's a lot of times a lot of minorities are not in that because they don't think they can do that or they're not exposed to that. And so, what I want to frame out what Dontae said is that motivating factor. Think about what he said. He put sports down to realize that this is where he needs to go. A lot of times, you know, we want to serve two masters, if you will. You know, I want to play a little basketball. I want to do this. But then he understands that, you know what? And I guarantee you were probably pretty good at it. I mean, when you look at him, Coach Quick, you're like, all right, either he can run, either he can play that round ball, or he can get down on the gridiron. So what sport did you like before you decided to focus on your career path?
My main sport was honestly basketball, but some of my coaches, you know, they wanted me to play football so I can get stronger. So I kind of bounced back and forth between basketball and football, but I've always had a love for basketball because, you know, ball is life. So got to go that route.
Oh, Coach Quick, you hear that?
Yeah, I love it.
He said,
yes, sir.
he said, ball is life. So we're gonna have to put that to the test here in a little bit, just to check his game. And we already know who his teams are. Before we came on there, we kind of did a little fact checking, and to make sure we were in the right neighborhood and make sure we had the right guest on, because, you know, we don't. No, I'm just teasing. But in that, Dontae, you know, and here's where I want to go with that. So let's fast forward 5 years from today.
Yes, sir.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself as a short filmmaker, taking photography pictures, making it an everyday hobby. Because one thing that I learned at the university is you want to love what you do. You want to love your careers. You want to wake up every day doing that specific thing that you have worked so hard for. And somehow my life has been molded into it not being a job, but more so it being like a regular daily, like just daily, I would say, you know, this hobby. And I have taught myself, you know, just along the way to just keep opening my mouth, keep on opening up to the opportunities that are thrown in front of me, and just being humble along the way. And that's honestly how I got to this point in my life, to just believing in myself and believing in my craft and working hard each and every day.
That's right, man. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think last week Coach Quick and I touched on the subject. Don't be afraid of hard work. You know, and for our listening audience, that's what Dontae is telling you. Because anybody that goes to the classroom and sit, and when I say sit, meaning you go to college and you on the ground for 4 years, that's work. You know, that's getting up every day, go sit in the classroom, doing your homework, doing everything. You know, you're not just on campus chasing the honeys or going to the ball game and all that. You got to put your work in. You know, so number one, hats off for you being a graduate, because there's a lot. I remember, Coach Quick, tell a quick story here, is I remember when I was a freshman at Pembroke State University, Dontae, and sitting in there, and the gentleman said, look to your left and look to your right. Because 4 years from now, the people that you sitting beside, you're probably not going to see them.
Exactly.
Right? For whatever reason, you know, they were there, didn't work out, they weren't successful. But I tell you what, you've got your head on right. You did the things that you were supposed to do in order to, now imagine, and here's where I'm going to go with this, and then we're going to kind of get down in this before we take a break. So, Coach Quick, imagine Dontae coming in that restaurant. He sits down. He's sitting beside Ralph. What made him engage the waitress versus sitting there and not engaging in order to have that conversation start? I don't know. You weren't in Virginia. We're not Dontae, but something in his spirit made him to be able to say, I've got to be able to seize this moment. And that's where a lot of people miss that. And what I'm really trying to focus in on for the folks, Dontae, is your job requires you to focus more than the average person, because you're trying to capture that certain shot. Because if you're not focused, you're going to miss that photo. So when you think in sports and you think of all the legendary photos that were taken, that were in the moment, the photographer has to be focused. As a filmmaker, you have to be focused. So folks, what we're framing out here and what we're really going to look at, and the title of today's show is Focus on Your Vision. And you're dialed in and you're focused in, and I know that you're going to be successful. So what we're going to do, we're going to step away, but we'll be right back. But via telephone from Charlottesville, Virginia, we have Dontae Woodfolk, and we'll be right back.
Visit our website, coachgoins.podbean.com. Always learn to pass. Process, attitude, sacrifice, satisfaction.
All right, so listen, this is Coach Goins back in along with Coach Quick, and we have on a very special guest today. You know, a lot of times people don't get an opportunity, to talk to up and coming. So, Coach Quick, we're going to sit back in, a couple years and go, man, this dude was on the podcast.
That's right.
And I'm serious. I mean, it happens, right? Somebody somewhere has got to give people the opportunity, no matter what it is, right? And as my good friend Ralph Sampson always says, you got to connect the dots. So one thing I learned from Ralph is once he walked away from the table, guess what he was wanting you to do, Dontae?
What?
Connect the dots.
Yep, networking.
That's all that is. That's all what he did. You engaged him, and then he turned around, and what did he say when he got there? He says, I'm not talking. I'm not telling the story. And he did. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And then he peeled out. He was gone. Said the 7-4 was gone. 7-4 walked over, and then 7-4 after he was like, hey, he introduced. He said, no, I'm not talking. And he turned around and left. So what you did with him impressed him enough for you guys to get up around and come around the corner and talk to us. Because if he wasn't impressed, he would have sat right there and kept on chewing and said, hey, nice to meet you, yada yada yada. Hope you have a good time. And then guess what he was done? Kept eating or kept drinking whatever he was doing when you engaged. So hats off to you with that. So listen, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of switch over into a next segment, but we're not done with getting into the paint, because that's coming up. But I want Coach Quick to talk about the news that just broke, and then I know you and Dontae gonna have a good time with this. Go ahead, Coach.
Yes, sir. Well, Dontae, I just want to let you know, as a fellow Tar Heel fan, hey, we can get ready for an exciting 2022-2023 UNC basketball season, because Caleb Love dropped today that he's returning to North Carolina for his junior season, along with R.J. Davis, Armando Bacot, and Leaky Black. So the four horsemen of the Iron Five are returning to Chapel Thrill to lead the Tar Heels to the national championship.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Big time. So give us your thoughts on that.
And everybody in my family is just going crazy right now.
Yes, sir.
Big UNC fans. Even though we from Charlottesville, we can't shy away from the North Carolina blue. I mean, that thing bright. Like, you can't miss that. So
you doing the right thing.
You know what I'm saying? So it's absolutely an honor to have Caleb Love back. Definitely our center, Armando Bacot. He did phenomenal. At the end, I still felt in my heart that we won the game, but only the scoreboard.
Yeah, had he not went down again, I really believe we'd have pulled that national championship game out. And that's no disrespect to the Kansas Jayhawks. You're the champs.
Not at all.
The champ for a reason. But hey, we're happy to get the four horsemen back of the Iron Five. We're only going to be missing Brady. I wish we could clone him and bring him back for a 6th year, but that is not going to happen. But the Tar Heels will be ready to roll.
Yes, sir.
So I got you. Do y'all want me to just go ahead and update my bracket that's still hanging on my wall now? And go ahead
Hey, you might as well pencil it in.
and go ahead and pencil you in. You want me to go ahead and just go ahead and do that and do I can do nose breaking, and we'll go ahead and do this. We can go ahead and put up the next next bracket. But no, seriously, congratulations to you guys on that. Just kind of let Dontae know we did have Coach Dennis Love on early in the season. Actually, I think it was it before what game did they lose like really bad? What?
It was before the first Duke game.
So who did they get beat by? Did they get beat by Wake Forest? Who did they?
They had lost by I believe it was 23 or something, 30 to Wake Forest or either to Miami.
Okay.
Right before then.
Right. So we had Dennis. His name Coach Dennis Love, Caleb's Love Dad. We had him on the show. So he was kind of giving us some insight. And the coach, he and Coach Quick, they running that Carolina stuff. I'm sitting here taking that. And here's the thing: I really don't have a favorite college team. I love college basketball. I pull for the Panthers because my cousins are there, and definitely as we continue to move forward, that they're gonna right that ship. But in that, man, I just love basketball. And when people don't like basketball, I kind of like look at them and go, "What? What's wrong with you?" But no, hats off to you guys. Now let me ask you this right here, Dontae. If you were sitting in Hubert Davis's chair, what would you look to do going into next year?
Honestly, I don't see many flaws. I just see, at times our defense can be lackadaisical, but we got players out there that's playing, 20, 30 minutes. So it's like, you got to keep those guys on the floor. But we're not so big when it comes to the bench. But if we just play together as a team, then, honestly, we could get the W.
All right, Coach Quick, I'll put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
If you sitting in the chair, see, here's the thing, Dontae. Coach Quick is on the staff at Chapel Hill, but they don't realize it. They don't realize he's on the staff there. They just show up and they don't realize that there's somebody else. But now go ahead, Coach. What's your thoughts?
Okay, well, first and foremost, we have to find a replacement for Brady Manick, and I'm looking at 3 guys. Well, actually 4, because Puff Johnson's play towards the end of the year is going to be big for his development and his growth going into the summer. This is the biggest summer of his life. He's going into the summer for the first time being on campus healthy. And he has a chance to replace Brady in the starting lineup at the 4, being 6'7", 6'8", and can shoot it. He's not the pure shooter that Brady is, but he can definitely dial it up from 3-point range. And then I look at Dontae Styles. He's a Kinston, North Carolina native, 6'7", small forward, power forward. His athleticism is off the charts. So I feel that he can be big and playing the 4 spot next to Armando Bacot is going to open up, driving lanes, and he'll be able to rebound the basketball. Also, I take a look at Jalen Washington, who's a 6'10" freshman. He's coming in, but he's a freshman, and it's going to be tough. And he's coming off major knee surgery, but he can stretch the floor. He's been identified as a player that is very similar to Anthony Davis. He can shoot it. I just hope he's not injury prone like AD. But he can shoot the basketball and stretch the floor, which is needed in the Carolina offense now. That Hubert Davis has brought this pro style. He's kind of a 4-out, 1 in, type basketball coach, and I'm enjoying watching that. And then I look at Tyler Nickel, who's also a 6'8" freshman forward coming in from East Rockingham in the Virginia area. He can flat out shoot it. And the next step is we got to develop that bench. We have to get at least 7 to 9 guys in the rotation because I just felt like we were dog tired on that Monday night when we played Kansas. And once Brady got hit with the elbow in the face, I felt like that took him completely out of his rhythm. We got to have somebody that we can plug in there that's able to make shots. So I'm starting it off with Puff Johnson being that guy to replace him. So that's what I would do if I was sitting in Coach Davis's seat.
Man, boy, I tell you what, you guys got it locked and loaded. You know what? We might have to put another chair down there and put Dontae beside Coach Quick and let y'all do some Xing and on. But I just wanted to capture you guys because I know that was some breaking news that just aired right before we went on. And want to be able to kind of stop and just kind of frame that out and get some insight with that. So certainly appreciate you guys dropping that down. So again, we're not going to pencil them into the Final Four yet, but I'm at the pencil sharpener. Again, Coach Quick, I think you were spot on when you come back and here's the thing. When you get in the NCAA tournament, you're not playing back-to-back games until the Final Four.
Right.
And when you don't have the bench, you're out, especially when you play an emotional game like the Carolina Duke game was.
Yes, sir.
Because Kansas kind of coasted through Villanova. But then, and plus, when Carolina and Duke play, that's a late game, man.
Absolutely.
And all honesty, I would love to see the tournament not play on Monday night. Just give them a day rest and let them play on Tuesday. But they ain't going to call me. They ain't going to ask me. So that's Coach Goins' perspective. But I just think because when you play back-to-back, and especially when it's as physical and as emotional as that game was, your tank can – and even put it this way. If there's no halftime in that game, Carolina may beat them by 40.
Absolutely.
I think when they went into halftime, they were just – when they sat down, they were done.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
There's no coming out, warming up, and getting your legs. I think, as a matter of fact, we were talking about that at work this week. If you take halftime out, they rocking and rolling. So, listen, as we continue to move on, again, we've got Dontae Woodfolk, and we're going to, and Coach Quick, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in here and asking Dontae what is going on inside the classroom at Albemarle High School as relates to the I think it's the morning television show. If you don't mind, tell our listeners what do you do and what is the focus while you're at Albemarle High School.
So at Albemarle, I am a teacher assistant, and I'm also a student support specialist. Since being at the school, it had taught me a lot of just about the youth and about where their mind is at the moment, and just how to sculpt it in ways that basically in ways that I have basically broke through all the barriers. I kind of want to just inspire the youth, like I said previously before. And every day it just teaches me more and more just about the students and their lifestyle. So I feel like developing some type of camera production will open up career paths in the future for these type of kids. So me bringing my NuFlickz alongside of the high school is kind of merging both of those together in order to, just create a relationship and also create a career path for these kids.
That's outstanding. Yeah. And when he told me that tonight, Coach Quick, when I met him, my mind ran back when I was at Pinecrest High School, and when I was doing the same thing. We had the closed circuit, and we would do the broadcast doing homeroom. We did news, sports, and weather. And then that was my first, that was my major when I first went to school, was radio television, because I wanted to be the next Bryant Gumbel. Of course, I got there and was kind of young and dumb and flipped my major. But however, we're back at it now. So I certainly appreciate you sharing that, Dontae. So when that, think about that, Coach Quick, the impact that he's making, and being able to, when you walk in the classroom as a student and you look, and the person in front of you is African American.
Yes, sir.
And he's not and again, not a knock on a PE teacher or anything. So please, folks, don't send us 1,000 emails. But what I'm saying is that's kind of uncharted waters. So when you walk in there as a student and you look up and the person in front of you looks like you, and he's teaching you about television, film, photography, that's pretty impactful. Coach, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely going to critique those kids' interest, and they're going to be ready to. They see somebody that looks like them, they're going to be involved. They're going to want to get involved. They're going to be passionate about it as well. And I just like to add this framework to it, because Dontae, what you're doing is unbelievable. Because man, everybody can't be a star basketball player. Everybody can't be a star football player. Everybody can't be the president of the United States. We got to have some of these kids doing what you do, filmmakers, photographers. So I mean, for kids to walk in the classroom and look at you and see your passion for it, your drive, your dedication, they're going to want to do it too, because they're seeing the fruits of their labor standing right in front of them, because you're succeeding at what you do.
Yes, sir. And I feel like
go ahead, sir.
I feel like what pushes me more and more each day is just me being the first in my generation to go to a university and graduate. I feel like those are big weights on my shoulders that I carry each and every day. And I feel like I shouldn't take those opportunities for granted. I should be the first one to, walk the path, not perfectly, but as efficiently as possible. And I feel like that's where I get my motivation, but that's where I get my drive, and then also from God and in my family. So those are the things that drive me to just, be this individual and be inspirational and be motivational, and just wanting people just to do good with their life, and knowing that there is somebody out there that you can talk to, that there's somebody out there that, cares about your needs and cares about where you want to be in your life. So that's what I'm here for.
Wow.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Coach Quick?
Yes, sir.
He said, it's not about being perfect, but it's about being efficient.
Absolutely.
And folks, who we have on right now via telephone, our very special guest, Mr. Dontae Woodfolk. And what we're going to do is step away, pay a few bills, and we'll be right back.
Looking for a smarter way to shop for your insurance for you and your families? Look no further. There is help. With several different companies and plans to choose from, whether it's life insurance or Medicare supplemental plans, finding the right plan has never been easier. Licensed with multiple companies and able to shop various rates, plans to help find the best plan for you and your budget. Independent insurance broker Curtis Jackson is the one to call for help. Call Curtis now at 919-614-5796 for a no-cost consultation. You're listening to Basketball More Than a Game with Coach Goings and Coach Quick.
All right, folks, we are back in, and we appreciate our sponsors like we always do, making sure they taking care of us and keeping us up and running. And, of course, Coach Quick, along with Coach Goings and our very special guest, Dontae, from Charlottesville, Virginia, via telephone. He is a graduate. Actually, he's the first graduate of a university from his family. We certainly, take our hats off to that. We honor him. And actually, the trailblazers that came before him, his mother's father, the people that make the sacrifices for him to be able to go and turn that tassel and graduate from Virginia State University. Now, here's the thing I'm going to tell you, Dontae. Did you tell Ralph you went to Virginia State?
Yes, sir. That was the first thing I told him.
Okay, and guess what?
What?
That's where his mother graduated from.
Wow.
So that when he heard that, he probably was like, huh. But no, see, that's what that easily could have been the connection. I don't know. Ralph and I talked about it, but I will share this right here with you real quick. I had an opportunity to go to the Boys and Girls Club Gala the other night in Ivy, Virginia. Coach Quick, that's between where I live in Charlottesville, and I know Dontae knows where Ivy is. And when Ralph invited me, he said, hey, man, I want you to come to, he says, and it's going to be some major hitters there. And guess what? They were there. Bingo, right? They were there, and I was in there, man, doing my, and the whole thing there, Dontae, guess what, brother? I'm in there networking, finding out who, is to say, okay, who can help push this thing down the road a little bit further. So I was able to make some contacts, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So, Coach Quick, if you want to go ahead and drop us in the paint.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Dante. My next question for you is: you talked about being the first graduate in your family from a collegiate university.
Yes, sir.
What was special about attending Virginia State, and what gave you that passion to want to go to a HBCU?
So I'm gonna have to take my hat off to my mentor, Miss Pearl Early. She is also a student support specialist that mentored me my entire life throughout high school. She the one that has molded my mind into knowing how a young man should be presented and how to carry myself, in today's society. So attending the HBCU, it kind of brought me closer to my culture and brought me just knowing my roots and knowing like how important and how hard my ancestors have literally worked just for me just to, live a safe life, but knowing, things aren't as safe out here, but like just safer than they were at times. And, it just makes me want to work harder and harder each and every day. So before I even attended Virginia State University, I went to St. Augustine's University, which was in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I had to attend in two universities from different areas, different states. So that had also taught me, just how hard I needed to work in order to get to where I wanted to be. And I always wanted to just tell these stories of just me traveling from North Carolina to Virginia State University, and it's been a journey.
Man, I can only imagine. And here lately, the perception about HBCUs have definitely changed. You got big time athletes now who are choosing HBCU schools. I don't know if it's the Deion Sanders effect or if it's just that culture, that environment of being around the HBCUs. Your thoughts on that?
So I feel like all of this occurred after like some political events of just wanting to just attend the HBCU, knowing the importance that it brings to us as African Americans, and knowing how hard we work each and every day. So for HBCUs to be uplifted during this time, I feel like it's very important. It's a very important topic that should always be on the top. Just recently, NASCAR has an African American student who went to Virginia State University, and they are the first car to actually be sponsored by Virginia State University. So I just want to give it up for that. Children's for Life. And yeah, that's my take on that.
Absolutely. Now, who is the current driver that you're talking about? Is it I don't want to get the name wrong, so I'll let you tell it.
The driver of Virginia State University, I believe his name is, let me see, Raja Caruth.
Okay, absolutely.
From Pittsburgh, Virginia. So he is 19 years old, and he has just made his debut a couple months ago. So that was huge. That was huge for my university.
Wow.
Man, that's outstanding because we're starting to diversify NASCAR now, and hey, that's just going to show that we're starting to arrive, and we're taking notice. People are starting to take notice of the African American culture.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, Coach G. I can get over to you.
Well, listen, man. Dontae said, you know what? He said he was down there. He was at St. Aug.
Yeah.
Right? I know what St. Aug is. I was at Shaw University, and I was on the campus of St. Aug every week because that's where my ROTC battalion headquarters was, on the campus of St. Aug in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I know the campus well. As soon as he said, he was at St. Aug, I was like, how about them Falcons from St. Augustine's in Raleigh, that blue and white, and then he leaves there and then brings his skill set to Virginia State, and it's the what is it? What's the mascot of Virginia State?
It's the Trojans.
It's the Trojans. That's right, Virginia State Trojans. So again, two fine HBC institutions, and the ultimate thing is he was able to go to North Carolina, kind of see what that was about down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and be able to slide back up and finish up business here in Virginia. So, no, that's great insight, gentlemen. as you talk about what Virginia State's doing as it relates to the NASCAR, and I think isn't it Bubba Wallace? That's
Yes, sir.
the other NASCAR driver. So in that, just like you go back years ago when Wendell Scott was running, he's originally from Lynchburg, Virginia, and Wendell Scott he was portrayed in the movie by Richard Pryor, but just how good a driver he was. But his problem, he never got no sponsors. And you be able to get out there and try to do that and work under the hood and take care of a vehicle and doing all that out of your pocket, it becomes very, very expensive. And then, of course, just not being able to get the backing that he should. So hats off to Virginia State for going into uncharted waters, if you would. So with that, so here's the thing. I got one more question, Coach Quick, that I want to be able to pull down and be able to really, really, really rock and roll on this. So Dontae, I'm gonna count it now. You called the mentor. You called the lady that was your mentor, right?
Yep.
Have you ever thought about doing a story on her?
Yes, I have. She has asked me a lot of times. Hey son, when are you gonna, put together a story for me? Like tell the story of just, how much you have grew, throughout the years, how much you have just gained from all the wisdom that she has just embedded inside of me. And, it'd be an honor, it'd be a blessing to actually do a story on her.
All right. So what we'll do, we gonna put this out on the air. So whatever we got to do to make that happen. If I need to be the guy on the other side of the camera, count me in, because those are the things. And number one, I appreciate you taking the question. Number two, I appreciate you mentioning her, because we've all had people that has allowed us to go before us, to walk through the minefields, to be the armor bearer, to be the people that telling us how to navigate. So hats off to you for calling her out, giving her a shout out on the show. Our show is reaching 47 states. We're in 15 different foreign countries, and we get ready to blow this thing up even more. But it's awesome. And go ahead and say her name again.
Name is Miss Pearl Early.
All right, Miss Pearl Early from Coach Goins and Coach Quick. We certainly appreciate everything that you did for our good friend Dontae and sowing the seeds. And you see that the seed that you sowed in his life did not land on a brick. It did find that soft ground. You cultivated, that you nourished, and he is a dynamic young man, up and coming, and we wish him continued success. So with that, Coach Quick, I'll kick it over to you for your closing comments.
Yes. Hey, Dontae, man, I just like to say thank you for coming on our show today. Man, your passion and your drive, your dedication for what you're doing is as an up-and-coming filmmaker / photographer, man, hey, you have that dedication, and it's definitely, you're going to see the fruits of your labor really soon. So just keep grinding, man, or as the Panthers would say, keep pounding, because you got it going on. And, man, I appreciate your passion for kids that you work with each and every day. And, man, and like I said, go Tar Heels as well. So thank you for being on this show.
Thank you so much. It was a great opportunity to be on the show. It's a great opportunity just to show what I can bring to the table. For those who don't know, my Instagram is Mr. Kanuke. So if you want to go onto there and follow me, and then also my business profile is obviously NuFlickz. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
All right.
Excellent. So listen, man, just on behalf of myself, I just want to say thank you for what you did tonight at the tap room, because people that took courage, that took stepping out, because when you see a person like that of that stature, and I watch people's reaction, Coach Quick, that have never seen Ralph when they walk in the restaurant or he walks in, they kind of get that aha look. I guess I would be the same way if I didn't know him the way I know him, and as I sit there, my mind runs back and I go, wow. But for what Dontae did that night was huge, and then that is the catalyst, because no matter what we do, there has to be people alongside that catches the vision, understand the vision, and assist us and allow what they've been able to do continue to move forward. So with that, Dontae, again, we certainly appreciate your time, your talent, and we wish you Godspeed moving forward. So with that, Coach Quick, get us to the locker room.
For Coach Goins, our special guest, Dontae Woodfolk, up-and-coming filmmaker / photographer, and the owner of NuFlickz. For myself, Coach Quick, we'll see you in the gym.
You've been listening to Basketball More Than a Game with Coach Goins and Coach Quick. Our podcast is available on podbean.com.